In the studio with us to talk about the Matric pass rate is education analyst Graeme Bloch. Morning to you, Graeme. Let's just pick up before we get on to the percentages. A point made there by the Minister, and I've heard more talk of this year than in previous years. We've got to get these kids through. We don't want to block them. We need to progress them. Is this a new version of saying pass one, pass all?
I don't think so. And you know, it's done all over the world. And we don't want overage kids in grade 11. So it's only those who can get support who are sent ahead.
Graeme, what do you mean by we don't want to overeducate the grade 11s?
No, we don't want to overage them. So we don't want 26-year-olds in class with 18-year-old girls.
Well, what you could have, though, is at least a one-year maximum. You know, you can repeat once. But, of course, some kids repeat during the school years. Isn't the danger that right through the school system, you get a whole lot of people being pushed through every year who really shouldn't be? Those grade 3 and grade 6 national tests showed shockingly low levels of literacy and maths. Now, if those are the levels, that means that every year, a lot of kids, like thousands, tens of thousands, are being moved through to the next year of study without being competent.
Look, I think that our ANAs, our annual national assessments, show very poor results at foundation phase levels, as you said. So I think that, well, we need to read more and count better, obviously, if we're going to compete. So addressing the issues at Matric doesn't help.
Graeme, is this set of results encouraging? They did say that the curriculum was more rigorous. So are you more hopeful of the future of education in South Africa?
I'm concerned but not alarmed. I think the dropout rate is a big issue, and those who don't make Matric is a big issue. And I think that maybe now is not the time to, but I mean, people work very hard to get Matrics. And so I'm not too worried. I would like to see more and better education and better educators on the scene.
How do we shift the emphasis away from the Matric? Because however much people say about it, the media still responds in a certain way, and understandably families respond in a certain way. And yes, it's important, it's a very important ticket, and if you've got it, you've got it. But in an earlier era, it was quite acceptable to leave school at the end of what is now grade 10 or standard 8 in the old language, and you went and learnt a trade, or you went and worked, age 15, 16, and there was no social stigma attached to this. It was regarded as one of the ways that you could get into the workplace and earn a living.
Look, I looked this morning at the media and I saw some very good ads. For example, it's the beginning of a journey. One journey ends, another begins. Or live your dream, work hard. So those were the two slogans that really struck me. So I think in these eras, you've got to get post-matric. You've got to carry on studying, whether it's FET college or whether it's university. You've got to work hard and be the best, because there aren't places, and just getting a university pass is no guarantee of getting into university.
So you're saying that the old idea of a ticket, an exit point after grade 10 and a ticket of some kind is no longer valid?
You would know better than me, but I think it's no longer valid.
Graeme, is this also a reason we are seeing the likes of Curo and AdVTech coming in to the play and offering an education that perhaps what they think that the normal government education system can't fulfill?
Well, many are giving up on government systems and heading for private schools, but it's a very small number at the moment, so we have to fix our public schooling system.
Yeah, everyone talks about Curo and AdVTech and other companies like that. They are growing fast, but it's a tiny number if you look at the big picture. Got to fix. What's your sense, Graeme, of the pockets of excellence in the public sector that still do exist, the good schools? Are they being rewarded for being good schools, or are they, as they were a few years ago, being punished in the sense of bureaucracy treating them as if they're a bad school?
Look, even the Eastern Cape, I mean, nobody got below 50% in the districts, and I think that's an improvement. So I think we need to, as you say, give credit where credit is due. Many public schools do very well.
But there's a reputation issue, isn't there? Because the public sector is tarred with the same brush, and there needs to be a rectification. A lot of public schools are delivering the goods.
A lot are, and a lot of teachers are, so we don't go for the blame game, but many teachers are not.
The minister said something very interesting when she said that it's the responsibility of the market to also train these learners. But then we talk about the FET colleges that's been under the spotlight as well as not being up to standard. Do we have the correct infrastructure or perhaps the support in place to make sure that these people or these learners that are leaving high school, going into tertiary, will be able to thrive?
I think the answer is no. We don't have the support we need, and more parental involvement would help early on, and more support, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, and as the minister said, attitudes come from parents, they come from communities, they come from other institutions. To expect only the schools to fix them is like expecting the doctor to look after your health, whereas actually you've got to look after your health and your family has to. Well, enough for the moment on that. Well, never enough on the education subject, but we have to stop there. Education analyst Graeme Bloch, thanks for joining us.